And this is a existential question for a lot of us. Is your password safe? It's described as one of the largest data breaches in history. Cybersecurity researchers have confirmed the leak of 16 billion login credentials, including passwords. The information leak, according to the Forbes magazine, can open the door to quote-unquote pretty much any online service imaginable, from Apple, Facebook and Google to GitHub, Telegram and various government services. As per the outlet, the researchers have uncovered 30 data sets, with each of them containing up to 3.5 billion records. So do we need to worry about how safe our passwords are? What is it that we need to know to keep our accounts safe? Joining me this evening, Nathan House, leading cybersecurity expert, CEO of StationX. Thanks very much, Nathan, for joining us here. What's the scale of the breach and how worried should I be about my password?
Yeah, it's a pretty significant breach. We should all be worried about our passwords because passwords are rubbish. So we really need to get rid of passwords completely and replace them with a different technology. Yeah, we should be worried, but we should be doing the same thing that we've always recommended that you should do with your passwords to make you safe. What you should understand about this is Apple's not been hacked, Google's not been hacked, GitHub's not been hacked. What's happened is individuals have been hacked and their usernames and passwords have been put together. So we don't need to worry about the third parties that have been hacked. So it's just the standard recommended advice that you need to do. You need to make sure that you have strong passwords, 12 characters plus. You need to ideally not be using the same password on multiple sites. And one of the reasons why, and it's what they're going to do with these, is they're going to do something called credential stuffing, which means they're going to get the usernames and the passwords, and they're going to try all of the common sites that they want to try and get access to. So if you've reused your password, they may be able to get into those other sites as well. That's why you don't want to be reusing your passwords. And unfortunately, we've got to have these complicated passwords, which are really a pain, which is why I was saying passwords they're rubbish, really. So you're going to have to use a password manager. You've got to get yourself a password manager. That'll help you generate a strong password. There are free ones that are out there. You've got things like Bitwarden, 1Password, Dashlane, NordPass. You've got to get yourself one of those. And for these sites, they have two-factor authentication, and this is very, very important. You've got to have your password and then something else. And that something else is what won't be in one of those lists. So even if they do have your password, you have that second factor, then it means you're going to be okay. So you want to be using things like Authy, Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, and enable that on those accounts. And that'll get you some way to being okay, even if they get compromised in future.
Right, but as you say that, it's one entirely different aspect to remember multiple passwords. The amount of passwords that one has and one needs to remember on a daily basis obviously is an enormous brain strength exercise in one stage. But why is this particular breach so significant? Why is so much concern about this breach? Is it just because it's been reported, or is it for somebody like you, this is the reality, this is more the rule than the exception?
Well, I mean, we do say another day, another breach, but with this, it's the sheer numbers. So we haven't seen numbers like this before. So that's what makes this different. But we do see a lot happening all the time like this. But because this is newsworthy because of the sheer scale of it, probably this was already happening without us knowing about it anyway. We should all be concerned, and that is why everyone's always saying that you need to have these complex passwords. But just to reiterate, you don't need to remember your passwords. You shouldn't be remembering your passwords. You shouldn't even know your own passwords. They should be stored in a password manager. So then you don't have to remember them. Now, a password manager is also a potential risk as well, and a potential area of compromise. It's just less risky than having bad passwords and sharing passwords, and get that two-factor authentication in there as well. And then you'll be much safer against these sorts of attacks.
Okay. Right. I guess like we say it in India, when you can't trust your passwords, just trust in God and hope that it'll be safe. That's perhaps the only way you can keep yourself relaxed. But thanks very much for those important tips there, Nathan. Thanks very much for taking time out and speaking to us. Now to the British Royal Navy F-35B stealth fighter, which remains stranded at the Thiruvananthapuram International Airport for the 6th consecutive day, reportedly due to a technical snag that forced an emergency landing. There was even fake news that the stranded fighter was up for sale on OLX, as hard as it is to believe. But this is a far serious matter. While Indian authorities, including Air India, have offered hangar space to protect the advanced aircraft, sources indicate that the Royal Navy has so far declined the offer, with protected tech concerns potentially delaying a decision on moving the highly sensitive jet indoors. Well, that's all we have time for on the Southern View this evening. News and updates continue right here on NDTV. You can catch Southern View on our YouTube channel as well and subscribe to get alerts. Thanks very much for joining us.